Are you excited for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but want more context to the time period that Tarantino's new film is set in? If you do, you're in luck, because in this video, I will explore every single thing in Sony's teaser for the upcoming movie. Let's jump right in. The teaser starts off with what seems to be an old television interview of actor Rick Dalton and his stunt double Cliff Booth on the set of the fictional 60s Western TV show Bounty Law, which both characters worked on from 1958 to 1963. Tarantino's new film, at least one of the multiple stories in it, is about Rick Dalton in 1969, who had been a star of the successful Western TV show Bounty Law, is now struggling to find work in film, and as a result, guest starring on other people's shows, such as in an episode of The FBI, which we see here, as well as appearing on the musical variety series Hullabaloo. Since westerns had fallen out of fashion in America in the early 60s, Dalton and Booth contemplate on going to Italy to make it in the booming spaghetti western scene. Then, we see not the Sony Pictures logo, but that of Columbia, one of Sony's properties, as it looked like in '69, as this film was set during that year. Columbia Pictures had just been saved by the enormous success of William Wyler's Funny Girl, starring a then breakout star, Barbra Streisand, released in the previous year. Then we get this 9th film by Quentin Tarantino title card. I personally don't like this font, and Sony's teaser posters look just awful, but let's hope these are in fact just teaser posters, and that the actual movie posters will be amazing. Then we see our first look of Margot Robbie as rising movie star Sharon Tate, probably at her and her husband Roman Polanski's house on Cielo Drive in Benedict Canyon, West LA. Here we see Sharon Tate, probably during a photo shoot. By 1969, the blonde all-American beauty, who had only just achieved her break in the industry with the role of Janet Trago on the massive hit show The Beverly Hillbillies, was quickly becoming a movie star. She became famous in the movie scene with her role of Jennifer North in Mark Robson's massive hit, The Valley of the Dolls, receiving a Golden Globe nomination as New Star of the Year. Tate was also nominated for the Golden Laurel Award as the year's most promising newcomer, and running up to Motion Picture Herald title The Star of Tomorrow. By 1969, Sharon had worked with top-notch directors Lee J. Thompson, Alexander McKendrick, and her recent husband, Roman Polanski, and had just starred alongside Dean Martin in the Matt Helm film The Wrecking Crew, and was praised by Vincent Canby of the New York Times, one of the most important film critics of the time. To top all of this, the actress had just become pregnant with her and Polanski's child. Thus, everything was in front of Sharon Tate, if not for a horrific tragedy that followed soon after. A beautiful evening shot of the legendary Hollywood Cinerama Dome, dressed as if it was playing 1969's May release of Krakatoa east of Java. The Cinerama Dome was a theater that Tarantino had visited many times, particularly in his childhood, the very cinema he had first seen an Ultra Panavision 70 presentation, being Ken Anakin's Battle of the Bulge. Why the director chose specifically the film Krakatoa East of Java is a mystery, at least for now. Here's one of the Pussycat Theaters on Hollywood Boulevard, an adult theater chain that ran from the 60s to roughly the 80s. It is not an obscure fact that Tarantino has streets of LA reconstructed to the very last detail of how these streets looked like in 1969. However, according to the fantastic blog Theaters and Movies, in 1969, this theater was still the New View, run by Pacific Theaters. It was only rebranded as a Pussycat Theater in March 1975, so not sure what Tarantino did here. In 1979, 16-year-old Tarantino worked at a Pussycat Theater in Torrance, California, as an usher after the director had dropped out of high school. Tarantino got the job by lying about his age, and he had stated that when he worked there, he caught the final years of adult films being projected on film, as opposed to video soon after. On the right of the Pussycat, we see the '69 dress of the historic bookshop Larry Edmonds. Here is the Hollywood Vogue Theater, dressed with an old white plastic marquee, as well as the redecorated Cabo Cantina, with relevant 60s poster boards put in. The Vogue's marquee above the Cabot reads, "The Night They Raided Minsky's," William Friedkin's 1968 film. Note that the picture is rated M, a rating letter established by the new Motion Picture Association of America President Jack Valenti the previous year in 1968. The M rating would soon be changed to GP, and then to the rating that we now know, PG. Thanks to the Theaters and Movies blog once again, we see that the Vogue is playing not only Minsky's, but also Sam Whiskey and African Safari, all original posters brought in specifically for the production. Once again, it would be interesting to find out why Tarantino chose these particular films. This looks like a Playboy Club party. Here we see an original Minsky's poster, as well as a psychedelic panel.
My hands are registered as...
Here's actor Mike Moe, playing the late Bruce Lee. This actor does in fact sound and look like Bruce Lee, except maybe for his jawline. This is most probably on the backlot of Columbia Pictures, a studio whose film The Wrecking Crew, starring Dean Martin, Bruce Lee worked on as an action director. He also trained Sharon Tate for her fighting scenes in the film. Around this time, Bruce Lee was mainly working in television in Hollywood, most famously playing Kato on The Green Hornet, as well as guest starring in various other shows, teaching martial arts, and appearing in tournaments. Also around this time, Lee directed the action scenes in Paul Bogart's Marlowe, as well as appearing briefly in the picture.
Mr. Marlowe?
What can I do for you?
Here I'm guessing we have Sharon Tate with her friends Michelle Phillips and Cass Elliot of the Mamas and the Papas. Here's a western being filmed on the ranch of George Spann, a rancher who let the Manson family hide out on his land. Spann is played by Bruce Dern, who was the replacement of the late Burt Reynolds, who was originally cast to play the part. Here's Rick Dalton appearing on Hullabaloo. Here we briefly see the Vine Theater, located west of Vine Street, playing Franco Zeffirelli as Romeo and Juliet. If you look closely on the right, we also see an advert for the TV show The Invaders, as well as the Deja Vu strip club advertising sexy vixens. Damon Herriman as Charles Manson. Here we have Nicholas Hammond playing actor-director Sam Wanamaker, directing either an episode of Custer, Cimarron Strip, Dundee and the Culhane, Lancer, the film The Legend of Custer, or a fictional production. Is it just me, or does this guy look like Charles Bronson? The song playing is Bring a Little Lovin' by Los Bravos, and that's the teaser trailer for Tarantino's new film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. One thing they definitely skipped out on in the teaser are the Manson family murders at Cielo Drive. Maybe some shots from the scene will be in the trailer of the film, or Sony will keep the secret until the film's release. I'm guessing the Manson murders will probably be treated with Tarantino's altering history style of Inglourious Basterds and Django Unchained. My guess is that probably Bruce Lee and Steve McQueen will end up helping to kill Manson and his followers, possibly also preventing the Manson murders. Will Roman Polanski be an important character in this picture? Tarantino's new film will also feature the characters of actresses Joanna Patet and Connie Stevens, two characters that we don't know anything about yet. Apart from an absolutely insane cast, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood will also star Brenda Vaccaro, Clu Gulager, Eli Roth's ex-wife Lorenza Izzo, Kevin Smith's daughter Harley Quinn Smith, as well as the director's own wife Daniela Pick. I am super excited for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I hope this video gave you guys some insight to the context of Tarantino's new film. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for many exciting things coming soon.